Hey, I'm so excited that you found my video where I will be covering information about the ferry Puntarenas to Paquera, which I've taken an uncountable amount of times because I live at the peninsula in Nicoya, which is reachable with this ferry. If you haven't met me before, let me briefly introduce myself. Of course, I'm super happy that you found my content, and it's very important that you stick till the end because I will be sharing information that I haven't found myself on any website about this ferry, about traveling to Costa Rica, whatsoever, coming to Santa Teresa, some little tips that can really, where you can benefit from a lot, is my belief, but you have to discover that for yourself if you agree with me. So yeah, I think it's worth it to watch my whole video till the end, but first a little bit about myself. Okay, I am intended to be as organized as possible in this video to share all information that can benefit you about the ferry from Puntarenas to Paquera, that ferry that I take so many times. I just recently took it 2 days ago, to be exact. So, to make some categories, okay? Suppose you are traveling to San Jose and you want to visit Santa Teresa or another town at the peninsula de Nicoya. You can also take a domestic flight. If you do not have a rental car and you have an accommodation close to the ocean whatsoever, it's way faster to take a domestic flight. Let that be clear, okay? However, there are some disadvantages of domestic flights. I don't take domestic flights as much when I travel from San Jose to my home in the rainy season. Why? If I have certain appointments, like I had a dental appointment Monday in San Jose, if it's stormy weather, those domestic flights cancel their flights or change their flight schedule. That means that you are not 100% sure if you can make it to your appointment in San Jose, which always takes a distance to cross. That's where the ferry hits in, okay? So if you are coming to Costa Rica, for what reason you want to travel to the peninsula de Nicoya, where I live, and you are with a rental car, I have some tips that will really highlight your travel, because this is what I found out myself over time. There is a very easy way to book an online ticket for the ferry for you, your other driver, and your car, and whoever is traveling with you. Now be aware that there are certain lower prices for people above a certain age and people under a certain age. Just take your time to read that website. You can translate it if you open the website on your... By the way, the link of that website where you can book an online ticket for the ferry, I will place it below my video in the description. So do your best to find the description, that's your mission, and that saves you a lot of hassle because the website is not easy to find if you don't know the name. So that link is below there. If you tap the link, it brings you to the original website where you can order tickets. Now, so read, if you don't speak Spanish, right, which was in my case the situation when I first came to Costa Rica and used this ferry. If you open this website, so here's a big tip, open this website in Google Chrome, you can ask Google to translate the page. and everything you see will be translated in the language of your preparation, okay? That may help you overcome the Spanish objection, okay, to order tickets anyway. So I recommend ordering tickets online before I take the ferry, without I am by car or if I'm with car. And there's two options. How is that happen where you're not traveling with your own car? It's because I travel by bus. I love to travel by bus from San Jose going home because I don't have to drive, I don't have to think. I can sit and relax. It's an air-conditioned bus 9 of the 10 times. I can do my Spanish homework. I can sit out my time as long as I know that I get home safe. And often my husband needs the car for something, so I cannot take the car. But in that case, you can book a bus which includes the ferry driving directly from San Jose to Cobano, which is the town I live close by, which is the town that's close to Santa Teresa and Montezuma, which is the town that you see. That's the second link I will place below my video, that if you're looking for a bus to take to bring you directly from San Jose to the peninsula de Nicoya, also including using the ferry Puntarenas to Paquera, the ferry ticket is included in that bus ticket. So there's two links below there to help you. But there's more information that will help you save a lot of hustle. Now, suppose that you have a rental car, you're coming here, you haven't booked your online ticket. Why people do not book their online tickets is because one reason is it's a little bit more expensive. Reason two is they're not sure if they can make it on time to the harbor. And that can happen, you know. Costa Rica doesn't have the best infrastructure. Perhaps your travel got delayed. Perhaps, I don't know, you got lost. If you don't have a ticket, this is the procedure. You have to wait in line if there is a line with your car. And the driver should drive as far as you can go towards the ferry. And when you are in this circle around the ferry, close to the ferry, there are some guys working for the ferry company who provide a plastic card to the drivers. So if you're sitting in your car, you're driving and you have a passenger next to you and you think to be smart and have your passenger already buy a ticket for you, your car, and the other passenger for the ferry, you won't get a ticket. You cannot buy a ticket. You can only buy a ticket with that plastic card provided to the driver. So with that plastic ticket, you go to the little kiosk in front of the ferry. It's very clearly where you can buy the tickets. Just look around and you will see it. Buy your tickets there. Okay? It's easy. Also on the website that I provided below my video, you will see the prices, etc. Now there's a tip for those who are looking into moving to Costa Rica on the peninsula de Nicoya or want to travel a lot. A car is more or less $25. A person is less than 1,000 colones. Let's say more or less $1 to $2, okay, for a person. A car is $25 to get on the ferry. An offline ticket is cheaper and an online ticket is more expensive, but it saves you a lot of hustle. Also because the ferries are often overloaded and full in high season. So suppose you get to the ferry, you want to be sure to get on it, because if you don't make the last ferry, there's a limited amount of ferries per day. You have to stay over in Paquera, and it's not the most coziest town of Costa Rica. Let's be real, you will see it for yourself. It's a little harbor, right? And it has accommodation, it has good accommodation, clean accommodation, but don't have too much expectations from Paquera. It's not, I don't think it's cute. Personally, I don't like it, but it's practical for the ferry. Also, what is important to know is that you can only book your online ticket in advance. Don't pin me on it exactly. It's 2 or 3 hours before the departure of the ferry, you can book your online ticket. So if you're smart and you know that you can make it to the ferry on time, and the schedule is below my video, then, and you have data on your phone, perhaps you bought Costa Rica SIM, and I forgot to mention why I started to talk about cars. A pickup truck is more expensive than a car. than a normal car. So if you're looking into buying a car in Costa Rica, a pickup car is more expensive to bring on the ferry. Don't ask me why, but it's like $10 more. So you know, when choosing your car, don't choose a pickup car if you have to use this ferry a lot for work, travel, I don't know why. So you know. But where was I? I'm going, you see, I'm a little bit chaotic. There's so much to share that others haven't shared. Okay, between 2 and 3 hours in advance with your data on your phone or on your laptop with data, book your ticket anyways if you think you can make it. Yes, there's Airbnbs and hotels to find on booking.com, Airbnb for Paquera if you didn't make the ferry. Okay, can happen. It happens to all of us once in a while. And then some practical, I think, did I do all the ticket stuff and the pricing stuff? Yeah, so for the most updated prices, check the website, okay? For the most updated times and schedules, it depends, low season, high season, check the website, okay? It makes sense. Okay, now some other practical stuff that I wish I knew before I took the very first time the ferry from Puntarenas to Paquera. Okay, it takes 1.5 hours, okay? If you don't have air conditioning, you can be lucky or you are very unhappy. You can stay in the car. Drivers are allowed to stay in the car during the ferry boat time. Oh, by the way, the driver must drive on the ferry and the other passengers, unless they have problems walking, like babies and elderly people, they have to walk off with the paper ticket for them and walk on the ferry. Don't ask me why, but it's a rule. They changed it during COVID, then everyone was allowed to stay in their car and driving on it. But now the driver drives on it and all the passengers must walk, unless they cannot walk. That's a good thing to know as well, right? So you're prepared. Okay, so if you don't have air conditioning, which we don't have in our old Range Rover, and you stand on the deck, you never know where you end up on the ferry with your car. So this is all information for people with cars or rental cars or own cars. Cars without air conditioning, just count on it that you cannot sit in your car if you're dreaming about taking a nap in your car during the overtime, the time that the ferry is going. Forget it, you're gonna be boiled like an egg in hot water because it's so super hot when you have a daytime ferry and you stand in the sun. You never know where you end up. You might stand in the shade, you might stand in between buses, trucks with cows, and everything goes with this ferry. Big transportation stuff. And there's also a basement, there's also a downside, let's say the basement of the ferry. So you might stand there and it can be super hot, super noisy there. So it's always a guess where you end up. The guys who work for the ferry just point out to you where to go. It's very structured. It looks very chaotic, but it's a very structured way of where to put all the cars and the trucks, and I don't know how they do it, but sometimes they create miracles with the amount of trucks, cars, vehicles, motos, everything, how that fits in if they put people in a certain order in their cars and trucks. So it's really just a nice experience to do anyways, to take this ferry from Puntarenas to Paquera. But yeah, count on more or less 1.5 hours. And that you go for the worst case scenario. Always bring your valuables. Don't leave laptops inside. Of course, there is people checking and guarding, but of course, it's the same as everywhere when you travel. Bring your most important valuables with you and just count on that you're gonna chill on the ferry. Now, what to expect from the ferry itself? And the stupid thing is, you might think, why didn't you take videos of everything that's happening on the ferry? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. I do it on purpose not. Because I don't want to offend people with my video camera, and I don't want to offend families with kids if I shoot videos like this, or I have to officially ask permission to everyone. Do you give me permission that you're gonna be in my video on my YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. Because I think it's really rude to just make video shots like that and put it on my channel, and so everyone can see the people on there. If I would be a parent and my kids would be standing on that ferry and I will be in someone else's video, I will not like it, and people could ask me to take down my video, to take off the video of my channel. So I decided I'm going to give you some impressions about my favorite ferry from Puntarenas to Paquera looks like. And that's the sunset ferry, and it gives you an impression of how beautiful it can look like in a little bit. But I didn't make, see everything kind of a walk over the ferry and you can look over my shoulder, because there are people visible who didn't give me permission, and it takes too much time to ask everyone. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just gonna share it like this. So there is, if you have a daytime ferry, oh, you know what? Let me just show you first some impressions of the sunset ferry that leaves in this time of the year at 6 p.m. from Puntarenas to Paquera. From Puntarenas to Paquera. It looks like this. So this is in the harbor of Puntarenas. The ferry is waiting to depart. It was a beautiful moment of the day. Like I said before, this is the sunset ferry, not the official name. I just named it that way. Beautiful sky, going home. I always enjoy this time of the day, taking this ferry to go to Paquera. Okay, and I was obviously standing on the outdoor deck. Now, depends on how busy it is. There are two decks. There's an upper deck and a little bit lower deck outdoors, okay? You can chill. There's two restaurants. There's a restaurant, little kiosk at every deck. You can eat snacks, you can get drinks. So don't worry if you didn't bring water, if you were just on time. They sell food and drinks for a very reasonable price, right? Really, like 1,000 or 2,000 colones for a bottle of water. It's not really that more expensive as on the mainland. So don't stress about bringing all food and drinks before you go on the ferry. There's an air-conditioned restaurant area where most people, locals, stay when they're on the ferry, especially at daytime. When it's very hot outside and sunny, it's very pleasant, it's very cool. There is a couple of ferries. One has couches where you can literally lay on. And a lot of people take naps there when it's not too busy. There are points where you can, and there's another ferry that only has seats. Impossible if you had long flights whatsoever and you're dreaming about a nap, then you should just find a corner and lay on the ground. I see people do that all the time, but those seats of the not couch ferry, you cannot sleep on there. But still, I assure you will see it. There's people who have long flights or are traveling back and forth to work and take the ferry. They just make a little bed, a little space, and they take a nap. It's really common to do that. I've done it myself when I had a long flight. I just fell asleep on the ferry, and when we were there, I woke up and ready for the next step to get home. So, but there is probably one of the things that you want to know. Can you charge your phone on the ferry? Yes, you can. There are not really official spots, but there are in corners some contact points where you can plug in a laptop or a phone. Is there a reach if you have data on the ferry? Yes, up to a certain point where you're kind of in the middle of Puntarenas and Paquera, you don't have reach. So if you don't want to send a message with the normal data, it doesn't work. But overall, yes, there is some connection possible. Also, what else is important? Well, there's toilets. It's overall not super dirty. You can wash your hands. There's overall soap. It is a very pleasant tour, I must say. It's always different. And there are so many different ferries. The first ferry goes at 6 in the morning from Paquera to Puntarenas, if I'm correct. So the times are season to season different. But that's a morning ferry. There you see the sunrise. It has a special vibe on that ferry. And what I found out recently is that those ferries, those Paquera Puntarenas ferry or Punta Paquera ferries, are originally coming from Greece. They are Greece ferries, and Greece has a lot of islands, probably you know that. So if you think it has some Mediterranean atmosphere here, it's because the ferries are originally from Greece. How cool is that? I think I covered it all. Oh no, I didn't cover it all. What is very important that if you are a driver and you're not sitting in your vehicle during the trip, then at a certain point you will see people standing up, you will hear someone speaking through the microphone, and that's overall the signal. They're telling all the drivers of the buses, of the transportation with cows and stuff, and just the normal vehicles to go to your car and be ready to drive off. And that's more or less 15 minutes before you are entering Paquera. Yeah, so that's good to know. I usually go sit next to Dirk. If the rule is that you had to walk on the ferry, often it's also that you have to walk off the ferry, but I would just give it a go and just go sit next to your driver. And when it's not allowed, you can always walk off. But it's kind of chaotic because before you can get off the ferry, and there is a reason why you want to be a little bit in a hurry, if you got the latest ferry of the day, which goes, I'm not sure what time it goes, you want to, and you do not have your own car. So first of all, there's just one little gate, so everyone has to stay in line before you can get off. You have to take some stairs. If you are not really a good walker, there is a lift for people. When my son was in the cast with his broken leg, we could use that little lift. So there is a lift for people who are not good walkers, but it takes time. So you should not be in a hurry. Now, you are kind of in a hurry if you have your ferry, you don't have a rental car, you got on the ferry with a ticket for you and your bag, or you're with a company, and you don't have a bus ticket, you must catch the bus in Paquera if you want to go to Santa Teresa. And then you just pay your ticket. I'm not sure what the price is for that bus, but it's not more than, I'm actually not sure. I think it's not more than 10,000 colones. No, it cannot be. I don't know the price of that. If you know the price from the bus from Paquera to Santa Teresa or from Paquera to Cobano, let me know in the comments below. I didn't do research on that because I never took it. When I travel by bus and by ferry, I buy a ticket online for a bus that goes directly from San Jose to Cobano, and that means that my luggage can stay in the bus, and I just already have my ticket. But if you don't, so the other day I met 4 Dutch guys and they didn't have transportation, so they're thinking about taking a cab. So it's possible there's lots of taxi drivers just jumping on you when you are with a backpack, looking as a traveler, having no transportation yourself, that they are offering you a taxi ride. But, you know, of course they will try to give you the highest price. And it's well known for this area, Santa Teresa. The roads are bad, the taxi prices are huge. Now, if you can share a cab, do your best, but be careful not to pay the highest price. And I don't really know what's the average price for a taxi. Sorry about that, but if you do know, let me know in the comments below. There's another warning that I forgot to tell you. When you come to Puntarenas and you want to buy your ticket for the ferry, people will try to offer you that they can help you buy the ticket for you, but of course that's not smart. They will probably earn a couple of bucks on you, calculating commissions on that. So they will probably say, well, you pay me this and I buy the ticket, and they put something in their own back pockets. It's very cliche. It happens everywhere, also with border runs and stuff, but don't step in that trap. If you're like, I don't know what to do, don't trust anyone who offers you, let me buy your ticket for you. Don't. Buy the ticket yourself or buy it online, period. Okay, so I think I've covered it all. More or less, when I travel with this ferry, I enjoy the ride. I enjoy the view, as you could see in my other video taken from the ferry. It's beautiful. It makes you aware of where you are. You have to, like, a peninsula is not an island, but it's an almost island. I feel that I live like a kind of island life here, close to Santa Teresa, because I have to take the ferry if I'm not taking a domestic flight. So that gives me the feeling that I am on an island, and we have the disadvantages of living on an island because all groceries and stuff are more expensive here because the trucks need to take the ferry to deliver in the supermarkets here. That's why our prices close to Santa Teresa, Montezuma, just at the peninsula, are way higher than anywhere else in Costa Rica. I assure you that. So be prepared for that. But the ferry on its own, it's not an expensive trip. I think it's cool to just explore, have it done one time, and just let me know what you think of it. And if I forgot anything, yeah, let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, again, for those who are curious and interested in what I teach online, how I make my living myself, but especially what I teach since several years already, I have coaching programs and education created on how to build a business online, which allows me and my family to live an amazing life in Costa Rica. I have the freedom of choice also to close my laptop, move somewhere else and open my laptop there. This is how we came from the Netherlands, right? But also wrote an ebook called 7 Steps to Move to Costa Rica for those who are interested in moving here. You can access that book by following the comments or the description below. Who knows, we're gonna meet one day in Costa Rica. And let me know if my video taught you something new. Share my video if you think someone can benefit from it. Of course, thanks for the thumbs up, for the likes. I appreciate you, and see you soon. Bye.